Hey familia, Miranda here. Welcome to another episode of First Viewing, where I share my thoughts and recommendations with you guys on films that I watched for the very first time. So I do have a pretty sweet little stack that I'm excited to get into, so let's go on ahead and see what all I watched. So first up is The Condemned. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, you guys. It is just action-packed, full of violence and fight scenes and people getting blown up. And basically this film is about these cons that get dumped on this island, and it's actually technically part of like a reality show on like the dark web or whatever. But yeah, so there are cons that get dumped on this island, and basically they want to be the last one standing. They have a bomb strapped to their leg, and so they basically want to blow everybody else up so they can be the winner or whatever. But yeah, this is definitely one of Steve Austin's better flicks, you guys. Like I said, I really enjoyed this one, and I highly recommend it if you have not seen it. It is just a blast, and there's just some really good action in here. All right, next up we have Nothing But Trouble. I really enjoyed this one, you guys. It's just kind of a really weird comedy, but it was definitely loads of fun, definitely full of giggles, and just the amazing cast. They all did really great. Dan Aykroyd's character is definitely pretty dang cringy in here, but this film is just loads of fun. If you're looking for a good time, if you're looking for a weird time, this film definitely, it's like one thing after another, and it's just a pretty goofy flick, you guys. So I highly recommend this one too if you have not seen it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So funny. All right, so next up we have The Three Faces of Eve. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, you guys. It was so good. Joan Woodard was absolutely amazing in this, but this film has to do with multiple personality disorder, and obviously she has 3 personalities within her that she's struggling with. And I mean, honestly, anything multiple personality disorder is usually very interesting, at least to me anyways. So that's probably why I really enjoyed this one. It is actually, so it says that it's based on a real life story of a South Carolina woman who ultimately manifested 22 different personalities over her lifetime. Obviously this one just, you know, has 3, but still basically on a true story. But yeah, I highly recommend this one, you guys. It's a very easy watch, and it was just so interesting to see each one of the personalities and how easily each one just came out, and to see just how different each personality was. It was very interesting, you guys. So yeah, I highly recommend you check this one out. So the next one I have here is Show Dogs. Now, you guys, I ain't gonna lie, I actually kind of liked this one. It was pretty dang funny, and it was just kind of cheesy, but it was still fun, you guys. Now, it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. For some reason, I remember seeing the trailer like a long time ago, like when this first came out, and for some reason I thought it had to do with like singing dogs or something, but it didn't. So I'm glad that that wasn't actually a thing. But it's basically, you have this dog. He has this, you know, cop kind of owner. I won't necessarily call him his owner, but it's like his partner, if you will. And so they go and they uncover this case that takes place at a dog show, like a dog competition and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I thought it was pretty fun, you guys. The kiddos, they definitely enjoyed it as well. They were laughing their butts off. So it's definitely a good one for the kiddos, a fun little family flick. Like I said, it is pretty dang cheesy, but it's a good one. It's fun. All right, so next up we probably have my favorite watch from this batch, and that is Dazed and Confused. I don't know what took me so long to watch this, but I came out freaking loving it, you guys. The soundtrack in this is just freaking awesome. And it is just such a like laid back watch. You really feel like you're kind of just hanging out with the characters in here. And just all the characters just seem so natural in this film. And so I really love that about, you know, all the characters in here and stuff. I mean, there's definitely some fun characters in here, that's for sure. And it's just a fun, crazy, good time. And pretty spot on for its time, you know, when it comes to like high school and stuff like that. So I was definitely feeling that whole high school aspect. I mean, except maybe minus the whole kind of like freshman initiation thing, but in general, definitely the high school vibes and whatnot are there and stuff. I mean, even the cinematography in here, it was pretty simple, but yet beautiful at the same time. Now, I will say, I didn't find this film to be like very like hysterical or anything like that. Definitely, you know, you get some chuckles from it for sure, but it's not just like crazy laughing your ass off kind of comedy. But it, like I said, it's so laid back that it's so rewatchable. You're so invested into it, invested into the characters. And even though this doesn't really have much of a plot going for it, definitely the characters make up for that. Just the amazing cast and everything that is in here. It is just a fun flick, you guys. And I will definitely be watching this again sometime soon because I thoroughly love this. All right, next up we have Earth to Echo. This was another one too. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I thought it was a super cute film, very, very heartfelt. And I think what really helped make this film was how they filmed it kind of as like a video diary in a way. So I thought that was kind of a cool little aspect to this film. But yeah, you have this group of friends. A couple of them are about to move away. It's their last night together and they encounter this kind of, you know, alien robot type thing or whatever, and you know, they grow to like it and everything, and so yeah, they get pretty attached to it in their last night and they just go on this crazy adventure. It's one thing after another. It is just a super fun flick, you guys. Like I said, they definitely kind of hit you here and there with some sentimental values, so it is a pretty heartfelt film. Just everything they have to go through, like I said, it's one thing after another. You have the government trying to come in and, you know, capture this creature as well. So yeah, it was just a lot of fun, you guys, and I really, really enjoyed this. So definitely give it a watch if you haven't. All right, the next one I have is Mayhem. This one, you guys, definitely basically kind of like the Belko experiment, if you've seen that one. So it's definitely a fun, gory watch. There's some pretty, you know, like fun kills and whatnot in here. And it is just a fun concept of a film. So I do recommend you check this one out if you're into that kind of thing, if you're okay with the gore and whatnot. And like I said, it's a fun one. And it just takes place in, obviously, an office building and whatnot, just like the Belko experiment. I mean, obviously each one kind of has their own different twist, but it's just like that. So if you like the Belko experiment, you'll definitely like Mayhem. So next up we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I was so freaking stoked when they had announced this film. I mean, I loved the first one, you guys. And I will say, though, I do find myself leaning more towards the first one over this one, but this was still a solid sequel. It was still a fun watch, you guys. You're definitely getting your laughs from this, and they too in this one kind of hit you with some sentimental values and whatnot, and just the whole kind of story of family and everything like that. And so yeah, this one does get to you here and there. I don't know what they were trying to do with the whole like promo of Skittles. I thought that was kind of weird but funny. Darla, man, Darla, she is just so freaking hilarious. She's definitely one of my favorite characters from you know, the Shazam films. But yeah, like I said, it's a solid sequel. It has its funny moments. It's fun. I mean, I enjoyed the addition of the 3 villainesses, especially Lucy Liu. I definitely think she pulled it off, you know, being the evil villain there. So yeah, definitely give this one a watch. Like I said, it's fun. It's funny. It, you know, just has its moments, you guys, for sure. But I do like the first one a bit better. But this one I did enjoy very much, though, as did my family. All right, so next up, I did check out the 2020 version of The Witches. Now, this one, I was just honestly really wanting to see Anne Hathaway's performance as the Grand High Witch. She was all right, you guys. Still, nobody can beat Angelica Houston, you guys. Like, no. But yeah, I prefer the original version over this one any day. I mean, this wasn't bad. It's definitely, for the most part, very similar to the original. It does have a little bit of differences here and there. I definitely enjoyed like Octavia Spencer as the grandma, and then the little boy that played the grandson, he was pretty good too. But I don't know, there was just kind of something missing from Anne Hathaway's performance in here to kind of set her like over the top or whatever. And then I don't know what was up with those weird, like, their weird mouths. Like, I don't know, there's their weird smile. I don't know. But yeah, it was okay for what it is, but it definitely does not beat the original Witches for sure. But yeah, it was all right. All right, next up we have Dog. Now this one, I thought it was just okay. I was honestly thinking that this was going to be a lot more like heartfelt, a lot more sentimental. It's definitely more kind of on the funnier side, considering that they just have one thing after another happening to them. Everything from being like kidnapped to, you know, getting things stolen and just a bunch of other things, you guys. Ending in jail and all of that. So, I mean, it has its fun moments for sure. It's definitely funny. funny at times. I just wish that there was more of a sentimental factor there. So usually dog flicks, that's what they tend to give you, is that whole, you know, sentimental value that really kind of hooks you into the film. But I just didn't really get that from this film. But overall, I thought it was a pretty decent watch. I mean, I would definitely watch it again. So yeah, it was Channing Tatum. I mean, it's not his greatest role, but he was still pretty fun in it. Like I said, they just have one thing after another happening to them, and so it's just a lot of fun. Everything that they go through, and I mean, obviously they don't take a liking to each other. So it to begin with, anyways. But you know, towards the end, they kind of warm up to each other and whatnot. But yeah, so we have Dog. All right, so next up we have Infinity Pool. You guys, this one is definitely a very, very bizarre flick. And I'm still kind of unsure how to process this one. I mean, this does have to do with cloning and basically watching your clones get killed. But it's gets kind of confusing here and there if you don't really pay attention, because in the end you're still kind of questioning, like, okay, what's real, or who's the real one and who's not the real one. Like, did they already kill off the actual person? Is it the clone that's still alive or whatever? So it's, I don't know, it's a hard one to kind of process. It's a very interesting film for sure. Definitely bizarre, like I said, but yeah, I'm just not really sure if I took a liking to it or not. Like I said, I'm still kind of trying to process this one. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Did you like it? Are you still also trying to process it? I'm curious to know your thoughts, because it's definitely a weird one. Not really one that I'd say is kind of highly rewatchable, but it was still an interesting flick nonetheless. All right, so the next one I have is 9 Lives. Now, I went into this one really not expecting much from it, but oh my goodness, me and the kiddos, we were laughing our butts off. This film is so flippin' hilarious. It's such a great little family flick. So I do highly recommend this one. I mean, don't sleep on this one, you guys, for real. It is just so funny. It's everything the cat does, and it's basically a cat kind of putting its thoughts out there as if it were like talking, and so you're kind of hearing what the cat is kind of saying. But yeah, the cat just kind of does some really fun, dumb things and whatnot, and it's just loads of fun. So I do highly recommend this one. All right, so next one I have here is Mallrats. This was another one too, you guys. Actually, I'm surprised. I did enjoy this one. I won't say that it was like super like hysterical, but it definitely has its funny moments. It's a fun one for sure. I love how it just takes place there in the mall, and they're trying to you know, prevent this dude's girlfriend from going on this, you know, dating game show or whatever. Jason Lee's character as Brody was a total ass, but I freaking loved him. It was probably one of my favorites out of all of them here in the film. And of course you have Jay and Silent Bob. They too were very, very funny, especially like poor Silent Bob. He always gets himself in these just awkward situations and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just loads of fun, you guys. And yeah, I definitely get why this one is quite popular, and I do see the hype on it. But like I said, it wasn't super funny, but I did still really enjoy this one. Yeah, and then seeing Ben Affleck in here, his role really wasn't that great. Obviously, he was just kind of an ass, and he's just kind of popped up here and there. But yeah, you guys, this definitely has its fun moments for sure. Especially the booty crack chocolate covered pretzels. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Mallrats, you guys, I will definitely be watching this again at some point. This was just a fun one, and yeah, I see the love for it. All right, and last but not least is this film here called Brothers by Blood. This one, you guys, I really didn't care much for. Joel Kinnaman's character, he is technically, I guess you could say that this family, or like these two main guys, are kind of part of a mob, I guess you could say. And Joel Kinnaman, he's technically supposed to be kind of like one of the main, like, bad guys or whatever, but I just didn't really feel like he pulled off the mobster role, and it just really didn't feel like full-blown like mobster vibes or anything like that. And obviously, like, this guy right here actually plays his cousin, and he's kind of iffy about things, kind of wanting to try and get out of the game, but both of their dads were technically, like, you know, mobsters and stuff like that. It's not really clear exactly what their mob family does, whether it's like selling drugs or money laundering or whatever. But yeah, I just don't really think that Joel Kinnaman pulled off the role here. It was definitely something that could have had like more potential to it. It just could have had better things going for it. There really wasn't much action going on. I mean, yeah, you get a couple of like deaths and murders here and there and stuff like that, but you know, for the most part though, it just really wasn't very exciting. I mean, it's nothing to compare to like, you know, Goodfellas or The Godfather, anything like that. So this was definitely a one-time watch for me. I wouldn't recommend this one. So that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys have checked out some of these films. If you haven't, definitely do so on the ones that I did recommend. And if you have seen any of them, let me know your guys' thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. Join the family if you have not, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.